my nature as an Aquarian is just to bring people together. So I bring people together, and sometimes it's like I used to equate it to lighting a fuse. I brought this whole thing together, now I'm lighting this fuse, and I don't know what's going to happen when it all comes together. It may go this way, it may go that way, and there's a detachment from that result. It's like, and just to be able to enjoy it for what it is what it comes. And because you never know how it's going to come out. You may lay out all kinds of things, but then stuff shows up. Stuff that you need to do, stuff that other people are going to help you do. Or in situations in life when you think your friends are going to be there for you, and some stranger shows up.
That's right.
And just is the most amazing person, and then disappears. And you may never see that person again in your life. It's just like, wow. And you, by right, I know, well, this is my brother, or my best friend, or my girlfriend. Somebody's going to be this person that I need right now to assist me. And they're not the people that show up. So we don't have any idea. All we do is we know, I guess it's that authentic connecting. And that's what I was talking to my last guest about, is just that connecting, that source connecting. And when you're sincere and you're connected, then there's that attraction. There's that, because you said we have a purpose, and it's true, we all have a purpose, and that purpose comes through when we can get out of the way and allow it.
Exactly right. And you know, purpose is a funny thing, because a lot of people think, they're desperate, like, what is my purpose? I'm not musically talented, I'm not a good writer, I'm not a good speaker, what is my purpose? Maybe your purpose is just to live every day from a space of love. Every day, notice when you're in your mind, because when you're in your mind, that's where, you know, judgment comes from, that's where competition comes from, that's where scarcity comes from. There's no competition or scarcity or judgment in the heart. So maybe your purpose is just to be an example of living from the heart. You might work in a bookbinding factory,
right?
But you can be affecting more people
because of the love that you're amplifying.
Exactly right.
You're an amplifier, and it's true. I mean, I look at myself. I've said this before. I'm a white man, first of all, male, white, born in New York City. I have got, at the time, it was the most sophisticated city in the world, and I have, you know, I'm an American. I've got all these things going for me, just right out of the box, without knowing anything. You know, that's a lot going for me. And then here I am in this world, and I have not succeeded in that way. That monetarily, I've lived the spiritual path. I've done this and that and the other thing. I have embraced the idea that I can have all of that, but it hasn't been something that it's not. Money isn't the first thing that always comes to my mind. So a project will come up, and somebody says, "But John, why are you doing this? You need to be making money." And I said, "Well, this needs to happen." They said, "But there's no budget." I said, "Well, it still needs to happen," you know. And I will throw in to help bring what I have, like you're saying, helping others with their success, to just because I know that that's what I can do. I can do that. Can I afford to do it? Well, if I think I can, even though I may still need money for other stuff, I have the time, I have the skill sets, and I bring those things. But it's, I was telling somebody the other day, I do many different things. So I have like 5 fishing poles in the water. And, you know, and I'm waiting for something to bite, and I'm saying, well, maybe I need to move to another location. But normally people just have one line in the water. I've got like 4 or 5 different things going, and yet, and it's like, so I've come to this place where, like, it doesn't really matter. I make my effort every day, and I realize that my success can come to me from a completely different area than what I think I'm doing to attract it. Right. I have 360 degrees that my good fortune or success or blessings can come to me, and I will make effort every day to do something towards, because I have to get up and do something. A beggar gets up and has to beg, a king has to get up and be a king. Right. I got to get up and make my effort. But I'm not attached to the fact that this is where it's going to come from. I don't believe that, I'm not limiting my opportunity to the things that I think I'm doing. And I'm embracing the fact that I'm bigger than that, and there's more that I don't know than I do know. Actually, the shit that I do know, excuse me, there's another swear word, is like a grain of sand, you know? It's what I do know is like a grain of sand, and what I do know scares the shit out of me. Twice.
There's another one.
Oh, well, last session it was fuck, now it's shit. I'm moving down the scale. I've deteriorated. But it's just like, that's what scares me, because like the little that I do know scares me because there's so much I don't. But everything, all my potential, all my possibility, everything that's going to happen in my life exists in what I don't know. It's in the unknown. So I'm into this place where I'm embracing the unknown. And I'm taking what I think I know and throwing it away and saying, like, that's only confusing me. And this is... So, and I'm sure wonderful things, because it's about being present. It's now what for you was 20 years ago when you decided to leave And now is now, today, still. It's still now, nothing's changed. And in this now is the possibility for everything. And it's just being present and experiencing your life at all different aspects. And it's not about the house or judging yourself against other people. Or because like when we get back to the idea that we're all source or connected, or we're God, or we're reflections of each other, and then we can get out of the game of this play that we're in, of confusion and delusion, and
I want to tell you one other thing, because I know that you have other people to interview. I remember this one particular day where the kids were not happy campers. They were about 5, maybe 6 and 3, or maybe 5 and 2, something like that. And I remember that they were just so out of sorts, and I decided I was going to put them in front of the TV, which I didn't do a lot, but this is definitely a TV day. I was doing a channel check. I was looking for Barney, and they're both whining, "Where's Barney?" And I see one of my students on Oprah, true story. And this person is showing Oprah one of the exercises that we did in my seminar. And I'm not saying that this person shouldn't have done that, because I said public domain. When I stopped, I said, take this knowledge, the world needs it. I'm taking a break, I'm going to be a mom. But Oprah was like, oh my gosh, she was like blown away. She's like, so brilliant, oh my God, I can't believe this. And so I'm standing in front of the TV, and I'm like,
I could see that.
I really totally. Still feeling very sorry for myself, and just, kind of a little bit weepy. And this voice came to me and said, remember the book. And I'm like, oh, I didn't write the book either. Oh. And I was like, no, not that book. And the voice said, remember the book. And there was a book that I had read, and I can't even remember the name of it. It's something like maybe Return from Tomorrow. And it was a story like Daniel Brinkley's story. The person had died and come back and reported what happened and how it changed his life. But his story was a little bit different. The being of light met him and showed him a reel of his life, all of the most important points in his life. And it was a very short reel. It was just one time he went to one of his kids' soccer games or basketball games or something, and then it showed him dancing with his daughter at her wedding, and a few other isolated incidents. And he said, but what about when I became an Eagle Scout? And what about when I opened the factory in Japan? And what about when I got the award from the Chamber of Commerce? And the being of light said, those things all glorified you. And then the being of light said, would you like to see somebody else's life? And the being of light directed this man towards the life of the woman who used to clean his house. And here was this woman sitting on a golden throne of light, surrounded by hosts of celestial angels, being bathed in gold. And the being said, would you like to see a reel of her life? And there in the reel was her comforting her sad child, bringing a pot of soup over to a sick friend, holding somebody's hand when they were dying, just greeting her friends at church, cheering at a basketball game for a kid whose parents couldn't be there at the basketball game to cheer for him. And then the being of light turned to the man and said, when you get here, the only thing that mattered was how much love you gave.
Nice.
So as long, and Mother Teresa said, you don't have to do great things as long as everything you do with love.
That's so true. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and I wish you success on your book. It sounds like it's going to be a bestseller.
Well, it was a bestseller a couple years ago.
What do I know? Look at me.
You could wish me good luck.
I wish you good luck on your Yes to Success, of course. Absolutely.
I'm relaunching.
Fantastic. A pleasure to meet you. Fellow Dragon, Aquarian. We rule the world because, not because we want to, because we know.
And because it is the dawn
of the age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius. So nice to meet you. Very good. Thank you. Janet Atwood coming up.